Okay, welcome back. Wait, that's the wrong seat. Yeah. Hey, what's up? Welcome back to. Is my seat height a bit low? I can just do this and do this. Way better, isn't it? I'm just gonna. Yeah, it's just too much. Fine. Okay, so enough camera adjusting. Um, welcome back to the everlasting summer, and this time we're gonna continue off right where we left off. So I'm just gonna start because why not? Day 5. Yeah, we're at day 5. I don't know how many days there is. Let me just do a quick Google check. How many days there are in everlasting summer? How many days? Wow, that's a good question. Seven days in total. No, I'm on day 5. This is a major choice on day 5. Oh. Okay. Don't spoil that. Don't spoil that. I don't want that spoil. So yeah, let's just load the game on day 5. What? Oh yeah, it's I have to make the cake, right? Yeah. So maybe to help with this cake, I weighed my options for some time. No, if such a major plan of Olga's fell through, I'd be in for a world of hurt. And it would complicate both my life in the camp and my search for answers, which have stopped for quite a while. It seems I have no choice. Okay, I forgot what to do. Okay, I'm collecting recipes for a cake apparently, and it's a strawberry cake, and the cake is for me, and I am collecting the stuff to make the cake, so which makes total sense. So I'm hoping it's you in the chat. So before I move forward, and why is the game not showing here? What? Did I mess something up? Yeah, no, okay. So the game is visible. So okay, let me explain to you what this game is. This game is called The Everlasting Summer, and this is a visual novel. And this is basically a guy called Semyon having a terrible life, like no motivation, no goals in life, and no determination and no consistency, no anything, nothing. So this guy just randomly one day gets teleported to a different dimension, maybe a different world, maybe a different time. Nobody knows. It isn't explained yet. So now he ends up in this camp. It's called the Sovianok camp, and it's like a summer camp thing. And there are a lot of girls here, and there's like four major girls that I can have a thing going on with by the end. So there are like there's one girl which is called Alyssa, which is like a she's a freaky girl. The second one is Slavia, and she's like I think she's like the oldest one of these four, and she's like the most wise. The third one is I think it is. I don't think Xenia counts. So there are the girls like Xenia, Olga. Olga is like the camp leader. Xenia is like the librarian, and there's another girl which is very small. Like she's not even 12, 13. She's called Olyana. So yeah, so I think there's three major girls. That is Alyssa, the freaky one, Slavia, the old and wise one, and the other one that is Lena. And Lena is the most mysterious one. Like she keeps to herself, and I will have to converse, and I'll have to start the conversation. She won't start a lot of conversations, but recently that has changed. Like she is like talking to me, and she even confessed that she feels safe around me and all that stuff. So it's making me a bit confused. Like I don't know what to think about her. Like I know because okay, so there's this thing. I'm getting these nightmares and these girls' voices in my head, and I even heard the name of the girl who's in my head. Like she's like in my nightmare, and the girl's name is Rena, which sounds similar to Lena, and I think it has something to do with Lena. So that's why I'm going with Lena rather than going with the wise one or the freaky one. I'm going with the mysterious one. My choices in the game do not reflect my choices in real life, so Don't quote me on that. Let's go to the clubhouse first. It feels like I've gone through more things today than all previous days combined. Thus, approaching the clubhouse, I'd even forgotten to think about how awkward it must be to look for sugar there. Okay, so yeah, yep, ignore that. So apparently, I helped find a kid who was missing, and his missing case was also something related to Rena, which is something related to, there's a building nearby this camp, and it's called the Old Camp, where a camp leader killed herself because one of the camp pioneers, he refused her proposal to be with her, and that's why she killed herself. And people say that her soul is still trapped in the old camp building, and one of the pioneers currently in this camp went to the old camp and he got possessed and he doesn't remember anything. So I helped him bring back to the camp, and that's why they're making cake for me, a strawberry cake for me, and I have to collect the recipes. So yeah, and a lot of things are weird. If you see things like, oh, that's super weird, it's okay. It's weird shit is normal over here and normal shit is weird over here. So it's kind of a weird world. I love how you gave a disclaimer about choosing that girl. Shh. Focus on the game. Okay, so this is the clubhouse, and the guy on the left is Electronic, and the guy on the right the guy on the left is Shurik, and the guy on the right is Electronic. So this guy Shurik, he was missing. He went to the old camp building and he was kind of possessed. He was acting very weird, and I brought, not just me and Lena, we both went together, and she was very confident. She was not so afraid because she was around me and all that stuff. So yeah, this is Shurik, this is Electronic. These are like the robotics people. Shurik and Electronic were enthusiastically building something. They were so busy that they didn't even notice me. I looked closely. It was some kind of a robot, or at least the body of one. Moreover, the robot was a female and had animal ears. Oh my god, furry people. I didn't want to make up theories and purpose of such a device of luminaries of camp cybernetics. Even though the design looked practically workable, I had my doubts about the robot ever being able to conquer Earth, or at least being able to do anything on its own. But they seemed to be enjoying the process more that the end result itself. More than, okay? And that was something we shared, even though I didn't want to admit it. On the other hand, they weren't afraid of possible failure, criticism, or jokes. They were working towards their goal without paying attention to others who call it unrealistic or even absurd. That's good. Or it looks like I'm truly comparing them to luminaries of science. Hey guys, I greeted them uncertainly. Oh, Semyon, come in. We are always glad to see you. I was actually already inside. Way to be obvious. Sorry for what happened yesterday. I barely remember anything, but, well, never mind, it's okay. And what brings you to our humble abode? Electronic looked at me slyly. Sometimes I feel that he makes such a face when he knows something about the other person, something he can use in a right moment. Sugar. I need sugar. An image from an ancient video game suddenly came into my mind, where some kind of a unit, like a builder or something, cried out with all its 5 pixel stater, "Gold, we need more gold." Yeah, I can understand that. We got it, said Electronic calmly. Why would you want it? And why would you keep sugar in a cybernetics clubhouse? What for? I felt that I shouldn't explain to Shurik what they want to bake a cake. To explain Shurik that they want to bake a cake for him. Oh, they're making a cake for Shurik. I thought they're making a cake for me. But you know what? Fine. I shouldn't spoil the surprise. I don't know. Olga told me to get some. Okay, hang on. Electronic disappeared behind the door in the next room. And why do you have sugar here? Exactly. Why not in the canteen? When the food truck came last time, it was the last thing to unload. And given that our building is the closest one to entrance, they decided to leave it here and save some effort. Actually makes sense. That's reasonable, isn't it? The door opened, revealing Electronic hauling a huge bag behind him. I really don't know what the size of the cake will be, but that was obviously too much sugar. Well, thanks, but I don't need it all. But where would we put it? Electronic gave me a surprised look. We don't have a place for it. You asked for sugar, so take it. It seems that the previous smile of his wasn't there without reason. Was okay, whatever. Maybe you'll help me then. It's not that far to carry. We are busy. He pointed his hand at the robot. I gazed at Shurik. He owed me, after all. He hesitated and then looked away in shame. I sighed, took the bag, and headed to the door. Thanks anyway, I said at parting, exerting myself. But I didn't make it too far. Just after a mere 20 meters, I had to put the bag down to have a rest. I have no idea how much it weighed, but it felt like more than 20 kilos. On the one hand, it was just 200 meters to the canteen. On the other hand, even such a distance with this payload on my shoulder, or alternately in my hands, or on my legs, or under my arm, or even on my head, looked impossible for me to cover. And as I resigned myself to move in minor sprints with prolonged pauses between them so I could get there by night at least, I heard a voice behind me. Oh, Lena, hey, what's up? Hey, hi, hello. Um, do I smell good? Okay, maybe I could help you. Okay, this is Lena. I saw Lena in front of me. I don't think you can. It was one of those moments when I felt painfully how dramatically I was out of shape. I can bring a handcart. A handcart. Why didn't I think of that myself? Yes, that would be great. Wait here, I'll be right back. I'll wait here till night. She smiled and ran in the direction of the square. What would I do without her? That is true. It's good that Lena isn't always that shy and can take the initiative sometimes. I started to think. She seemed quite unusual now, with no trace of shyness on her face. Exactly. So this is like a quickly escalating character development. Like 2 days ago, I think 2 days ago she was completely shy, was not talking, and now she's, heading conversations. So her face and actually the complete opposite, smiles and confidence. Exactly. The offer of help wasn't something extraordinary, but by itself. But getting it from Lena, yeah, that was extraordinary. A few minutes later, she came back with a smallish handcart. I put the bag down on it. Thanks. Don't mention it. Oh, she's blushing. She blushed and looked down. Oh, the Lena we all know is back. So I'll go then. Yes, see you. And thank you again. I love how the music just changed to, happy summer from a decent summer. Yes, see you and thank you again. I shouted after her. Sometimes I felt like there are two different people living inside of Lena. Exactly. That is why I went with Lena, because I think the Rena part, I think she's a twin of Rena, and that's why her name is Lena, and she has something to do with the old camp and the camp leader that killed herself, and there has to be something that is related to the end of the game to Lena, like just exclusively to Lena rather than the other girls. I know the other girls have a different ending and this girl has a different ending, but I can assure you that this girl has to have the main ending, like the main shit that was supposed to happen. So that's why I'm going with her, not because she's mysterious and cute and shy and very conservative, but the second one, confident, happy, and sometimes even bold. Oh wait, I felt like but the second one, confident, happy, and sometimes even bold, only appears when she talks to me. Exactly. Or am I making things up again? You aren't. That is true. I thought that it would be better if I get all the ingredients at once, so I headed to Olga's cabin with the handcart. Okay, then I should go to the infirmary. Oh, I hate this nurse. I don't know why she acts like she's like, oh, I'm the queen of this place and all that shit. What can I do? Oh, wait, what? I feel like I've visited the infirmary too often recently. Yeah, I was the infirmary guard for one day, and then I don't know. I've been to the infirmary a lot. Yeah, I can feel that. But what can I do? That's how things pan out. I sighed and knocked on the door. Come in. This is Viola. The nurse said with a trace of a sing-song accent. Come in. Something like that. Yeah, this is the nurse. Like, her eyes are so freaky. Like, Are you a fucking mutant? Why are your eyes like that? This is so confusing. Good afternoon. Olga has sent me to get some, I hesitated slightly, yeast. Ah, sure. She gave me a broad smile. Why do you have yeast in a fucking infirmary? It's just that I don't have any. Pioneer? How so? She said that. Well, I had some, but now there's none left. I didn't even bother asking why she had it in the first place. Thank you. Well, don't you worry. You can have some aspirin, for example. That could be of some use to me, actually. Where do I get it then? I sighed. Take this. She opened the drawer and pulled out some kind of a bottle. Wait. Ostan Kingsko was a well-known brand of a cheap beer in USSR. I took a closer look. It was Ostan Kingsko beer. What's the matter? Beer is also a fermented product. She gave me a deep gaze. Nobody will even notice. She had a point, but everything just looked so grotesque to me that I couldn't find anything to say. Are you sure? Absolutely. Okay then, the bottle clearly wouldn't fit into my pocket of my shorts. Well, thanks, I mumbled shyly, leaving the infirmary. Oh, this woman is super bold. Well, beer certainly could replace yeast. Can it though? Even my limited knowledge of chemistry and biology was enough to accept this. I don't know, I have no knowledge of chemistry and biology, so I don't know. Generally, walking around with this bottle in my hands looks like a silly idea to me, so I decided to bring it to Olga's cabin and hide it there. But I had to reach it somehow without anybody noticing the beer. I hid the bottle under my shirt. And this is Slavia, the old and wise one. And everything would have been fine, but Slavia called out to me at the square. Actually, she sprang out from behind me so suddenly that I even gave a start. How's it going? What exactly? Your search for ingredients. So you know already. Yes, I do. Slavia smiled. It's going alright. I answered, trying not to give away my unrest. And what do you have there? She pointed at the bottle sticking out from under my shirt. This, she got me. It's nothing. I blushed with a silly giggle. It's time to go. I was almost running, leaving the square with the puzzled Slavia behind. It's great that she is one of those people who don't ask unnecessary questions. Yep, like Alyssa and Uliana and maybe Olga, because she's the camp leader. She has to ask unnecessary questions. But there are people in this camp who like nothing better than to poke their noses into other people's business. Exactly, Alyssa. Uliana. This girl is trouble. This girl is trouble. Oh my god. Passing the pioneers' cabins, I stumbled upon Uliana. Oh, this little bastard, my god. What are you hiding there? She gave me one of her cheeky looks. I thought there was no point in denying anything, so I replied in a provocative manner. It's none of your business. I'm a cipher officer bearing a message to headquarters. That's certainly a big message. I was carrying the bottle at waist height, so I was slightly embarrassed. Oh, this little bastard, man. Come on, you want some help? I'll deal with it on my own. I walked past her confidently and proceeded on my way. To my surprise, she didn't say anything, nor try to pursue me. Well, that is a surprise. There was nobody at Olga's cabin, so I successfully managed to stuff the bottle under my bed. Once I got outside, I sighed in with relief. Really, I couldn't believe that I would ever worry that much about a single bottle of beer. Like I was back in high school. It's a good thing it's safe now. Even if somebody finds it, I'll claim that it's not mine. I could always think of a suitable excuse from my enormous experience. Sure. Now let's head to the library to get flour. Okay, this is knowledge for you all. This flour in libraries. Flour? If every other place on the cake ingredient list made at least some sense to me, then flour from the library made none. I thought hard about who would put it in the library and why, but couldn't find any sane explanation after all. Given Xenia's harsh nature, I'd better knock first. It's a library, dude. Open. Xenia peered at me closely. Like she's like this arrogant girl. Like I don't really like this girl. She's very arrogant. Peered at me closely from behind her glasses. What do you want? Um, don't think anything weird, but I don't want to look like an idiot and decided to explain things carefully. I need some flour. Olga said that it's here. I understand that it sounds strange to keep the flour in the library, but I was sent to you and it's needed for a cake to celebrate Shurik's rescue. Yes, I have the flour. What's so strange about it? Xena replied with a surprise. At the second, I felt like I had been hit on the head with a heavy weight and lost the ability to understand anything at all. Flower in the library. Sure, what's so strange about it? We're in Wonderland. I'm Alice, and now I'm gonna eat the magic mushroom, and I'll be back home. Hey. Yeah. I was daydreaming. Wait here, I'll be right back. She disappeared behind the bookshelves while I folded my hands and started waiting. Ooh. A moment later, the sound of a trapdoor groaning on its hinges reached me. Hey, you need some help? I inquired loudly. I'll deal with it. Xenia barked out to me. She seems to be in the basement, so I'll have to wait a little. What? Xenia said that? Oh no, it's a mistake. Okay. What? A few minutes passed, but Xenia still hadn't returned. I was starting to get worried when the door was suddenly flung open and Alyssa came into the library. Oh, this is Alyssa, which is like the freaky girl that I talked about. She looked surprised too, seeing me here. What are you doing here? Am I not allowed to be here? I said rudely to her. Alyssa was clearly a bit overwhelmed. What do I care? She nodded and headed to Xenia's table. And why are you here then? Alyssa measured me with her eyes carefully and almost opened the mouth to say something, but then seemed to change her mind and turned away, hiding her hands behind her back. Returning a book, I blurted the first thing off the top of my head. It's none of your business, she replied with a hint of hesitation. What book is it? Alyssa was silent. Oh, come on, let me see it. I wonder what Miss High Voltage Keep Away reads. It's none of your business. Her voice was even less confident. Okay, I don't insist on anything. In fact, I was quite interested to find out what Alyssa was reading. Moreover, I was quite amused to see a book in her hand. TV, movies, or a computer, if one were available here, all these things seemed to be much more appropriate entertainment for a girl like her. But she had a book instead. I just snatched. Nah, I'm just gonna stay on guard. I don't want to mess with this girl. Curiosity killed the cat, but then you don't fuck with the cat because she can bite back. Anyway, it's Alyssa, and that means it could quickly turn into a total mess. Yes. Plus, I still have ingredients to collect. Well, I'll come later. Alyssa left the library quickly without looking at me. It got me thinking, why would you use good twice? What could this book be about if she was so ashamed of it? And ashamed of Alyssa is something extraordinary by itself. A lot of extraordinary things are happening around. Okay, so I had this theory before that maybe going with Alyssa is like the safest way of playing the game, but then again I wanted to explore Lena more than Alyssa because Alyssa is not being nice to me, and that is the most normal thing I would see in a game. So yeah, I think I should have went with Alyssa, but I didn't, so yeah, whatever, let's go with Lena. But what's the point in guessing now? There's no way to find out anything. Finally, Xenia's deep groan rang out, reaching each and every corner of the library. Grab it! I passed by the bookshelves and behind the perspiring librarian sitting near the trapdoor leading into the basement with a small sack next to her. Well, they might have some sort of storehouse down there. Thanks, I took the sack and left the library. Thank goodness it wasn't too heavy, so I carried it down to Olga's cabin without too much effort. Finally, it seems that everything had been collected. I took the handcart with sugar outside and put the sack flour in it, followed by the 2 baskets of strawberry that somehow fitted in between. Okay, and the beer was hidden under my shirt, just in case. The day was coming to its end, and so I had to hurry, as cake itself will need some time to bake. Of course, I'd rather enjoy lying down, closing my eyes and getting a decent sleep, but I just couldn't let Olga down. Indeed, after all the trouble I'd gone through, I even felt personally responsible for the success of this event. Okay, coming to the square, I stopped for a moment to catch my breath. It wasn't that the cart was heavy, it ran smoothly without any noticeable effort required. It was just that any physical exertion caused pain to me now. And why is that? Both a physical and mental one. Physical, okay, but why a mental one? What? I sat down on the bench and closed my eyes for a moment. What's that? I didn't really give a damn who it was. Probably just a fellow pioneer girl taking an interest in an unfamiliar companion in distress. What are you talking about? I asked her tiredly. She didn't reply. Those are the ingredients for a cake. Do you like cakes? I don't know. What, you've never tried cake? I don't know. Obviously, the girl didn't get what I was talking about, but it didn't surprise me at the moment. I really was. Just open your eyes, dude. I really wasn't interested in the conversation. I was so tired that I had zero intention of classifying external distractions and tagging them as either common or uncommon. Wow, you had time to think this but not to open your eyes. I see. Come down to the canteen later and have a bit. Have a bite. Really? Really? And what are they made of? What? I ask indifferently. These cakes. Well, some flour, some sugar, various fillings. And that's a strange question. Doesn't she know what cakes are made of? And you have it all here? Yeah, sort of. And sugar. And sugar. Could you lend me a little? What for? I thought it was over the top. A sudden gust of wind made me grab the cart instinctively and open my eyes. However, nobody was there. Oh, it's Rina. Fuck yeah, okay. Am I daydreaming? I noticed though the sugar sack was untied and a small heap of it had poured out. Could it be that she was scared by the wind and ran away? What? Having fixed the sack, I got up from the bench and continued on my challenging strawberry way. Wow, this is getting weird now. There wasn't a single person near the canteen. No wonder dinner was still an hour away. I brought the handcart to the rear exit and handed the full stuffs to the camp cook. She must have already been told what to do with them as she gave such an unpleasant look. Can I look how she looks? I'm not sure how she looks. I haven't seen her. I'm not sure how long it takes to bake a cake, but it seems she had to hurry. I just wanted to relax for the remaining time of dinner. In short, I was so tired that I just sat on the steps and waited. Stop closing your eyes. My eyes closed themselves. I guess I got so tired throughout the day that I didn't even notice how someone came up to me until they patted me on the shoulder. Oh, this is Miku. I think she's also one of the girls that you can have an ending with. So this is the music girl, the not the choir girl, but the music girl in the summer camp. So she knows how to play a lot of instruments, drums, guitar. She also sings, which her voice is really beautiful. So and she's very, what do you say, not clumsy, but look at her talking. Okay, hi, Miku was standing before me. Yeah, I didn't need a mirror to imagine the expression of skepticism and annoyance on my face. Oh, excuse me, I must have interrupted you. No problem, I was just sitting here. Alright then. Miko beamed with a smile. I was just coming to dinner. I thought that it's time already, and then it appeared to me that it's too early, but I decided to check just in case. Maybe it's not me who's mistaken, but the clock is. See, you see what I mean? Well, not the clock. Clocks can't be mistaken, it's just that I misread it. She seemed to be ultimately confused now and fell silent. It's still about half an hour before dinner. Oh, that's great. Then I'll sit here and wait with you if you don't mind. Oh, of course I do mind. Frankly speaking, yeah, I do mind. You know, I have some matters to attend to. I stood up quickly and left without saying goodbye, ignoring Miko as I always did when she screamed something after me. I hate this. See, ignoring someone but not to the face is okay, but just getting up and just fucking off from that location without even saying a bye or even I'll see you later or just just ignoring while the person is still talking, it's just stupidly rude and I don't condone this. Just fuck off if you do that. A minute later, I got to the square and sat on the bench with the firm intention of finding a quiet and safe place here to wait for dinner. You're in the center of the camp. Do you think this is going to be the quiet and safe place to rest? I think this is the first time in the last 4.5 days when I felt like this. Yeah, mental tiredness because you've gone through a lot. Like If you were teleported to a random camp and were forced to act like everything is normal, that you were supposed to be here and everything around is completely normal, and all these illusions, daydreams, nightmares you're going through is completely normal, you will definitely go insane. And I'm really surprised this dude is yet not insane. So I wasn't just irritated because of some insignificant details, but indeed I was really angry. I've completely stopped caring about where I am and why am I here. I don't care about how to get out either. What's driving me mad is that I always have to carry out some stupid task given by a camp leader, and it's always me who gets into stupid situations and sometimes even ends up looking like a clown. If all of this is some alien trick or a plot of the universal mind, then better consult with this psychiatrist. I gritted my teeth and clenched my fists. Good night. Oh, dude, you came here just to say good night. Appreciate it. Good night, buddy. I gritted my teeth and clenched my fists. And the most annoying thing is that everything that happens seems to happen by itself somehow. I'd be happier not having to carry around bags of sugar that weigh a ton, but I had no choice at all. I mean, any other option would lead to much worse consequences than a muscle strain or hurt pride. Who are you angry with? Ulina was standing in front of me and smiled slyly. Nobody really. I answered absently, but my fists gave me away. Just like that. Okay, it's up to you. You better tell me. Why did you run around the camp the whole day with some kind of bags? I had to, I've replied reluctantly. I guess it was food. Maybe it was. Lina was about to say something, but at the moment the bell rang, calling the pioneers for dinner. I sighed in relief and quickly headed to the canteen, leaving Uliana behind. Simeon, thank you very much. For what? The camp leader gave me a friendly smile. For the cake, of course. Ah, sure. It was at the exact moment that I understood the true meaning of saying, keep your thanks to feed your cat. What? You didn't tell anybody? This ought to be a surprise. Yeah, that's my boy. And now off you go to dinner. Olga waved her hand, pointing at the canteen. So I did tell Xenia, and I'm really scared that maybe she will spread the word, and maybe I'll get blamed for it. Fuck it, I'll take it. I stepped through the doorway slowly and started to look for a free place. It turned out there were plenty today, so I got the chance to eat all alone. There was fish with mashed potatoes for dinner. What misfortune once again. I'll be left half hungry. Hungry. Oh yeah, he was hungry as well. And didn't we have fish for lunch? Is it a fish only day today? Why you keep closing eyes? Having pushed my plate with the fried sea dweller away, I laid my head on my hands and closed my eyes. But soon somebody came up to the table. Unless it's Lena, I don't care who it is. Ah, Slavia. Hey, are you alright? Yeah, I'm fine. I replied without changing my position. Just tired? Yeah, a little. That's bad. Slavia said it seriously. Of course. You remember that we are going for the hike after the dinner, don't you? Have you prepared everything? What hike? What? Where? Okay, it's Lena. So yes, I remember the hike. Of course, I remember the hike. I opened my eyes and lifted my head instantly. Lena was standing by Slavia. The hike. She was surprised. Don't you know? No. I put my head down on the table and covered it with my hands. Don't ignore Lena as well. If only I could sink into the ground right away. The girls remained silent. I was left alone with my thoughts for some time, and that was fine by me. Maybe I could have sat that way until the end of the dinner time, but the strong voice of Olga was heard from the opposite end of canteen. Guys, to celebrate the miraculous rescue of our friend and comrade, Shurik, we baked this cake for you all. I lifted my head idly to look towards the camp leader, but couldn't see anything beyond the pioneer's back. Just a second, and nothing about me. Nothing about me rescuing Shurik or gathering the ingredients for the cake. As if that's how it ought to be. Well, it would be wrong to expect anything else from our camp leader. Let's go, or we won't get our share. Slavia smiled. Let's go, Alina agreed. Yeah, sure. I got up reluctantly reluctantly, wow, thank you, fucking word, and tagged along behind the girls. As we approached the crowd of pioneers, Olga was just putting the cake in the center of the table, and now, what? The camp leader wasn't able to finish as Uliana rushed out from the pioneer crowd and dived into the cake. Oh, Uliana, you stupid girl. Oh, Lena looks cute and all, you know, poking the finger. She managed to nibble it a few times before she was pulled away. She was kicking and screaming. I stared blankly from the outside at all this drama. Alyssa smiling, Lena picking up some cream with a finger, all these furious pioneers around. I felt completely out of place here. I thought that if I close my eyes now and open them again, here I am, back to the safety of my apartment in front of a computer. Nope, I blinked, but nothing changed. Only the noise and the confusion became sharper. Oh, Lena, that's the limit. I just, well, in fact, behaving like this is a bit over the top, even for her. Shurik broke into the conversation, or is it court martial? Please, Olga, since the cake is celebrating my return, it's no big deal. He hesitated. Oh, boy, it doesn't matter. The camp leader turned to Olina. And you, today I'm going to punish you to the fullest extent and you'll behave next time. Ah, whatever. She snorted and turned back. You won't be going on the hike with us tonight. As if I wanted to. I was more than willing to switch places with Juliana and skip the hike instead of her. But who knew? If I had... Okay, so I read that this is day 5, right? I'm playing day 5. So I've heard that day 5 has the ultimate choice. Like who you're going to select the girl to be, part of your ending. So I'm gonna of course pick Lena, but then again, I'm not sure what the situation could be, so let's just see. I'd have been the first one to go berserk and smash the damn cake. After a couple of minutes of confusion, the pioneers started to disperse. You have to get ready too, and there'll be a lineup at the square in half an hour. I looked straight into the eyes of the camp leader, trying to express my attitude non-verbally. But it seems that I failed. Don't be late. Of course, Ulina was sitting on the table when I approached her on the way to the exit. So why did you do it? She looked very upset. But she had a right to be so. I wanted to, Ulina replied abruptly. So you're happy now? Of course I am. And you, good luck with the hiking. She smiled mischievously, sprang up and rushed out of the canteen. By the way, are you still watching? I'm not sure. Let me know when you go to the dinner. Then I'll, stop pretending there's someone watching me. And then I'll just start thinking how alone I am. And nobody's watching me, so I'm just doing this for nobody. And well, a little bit of luck wouldn't hurt. Walk and you shall reach is what's exactly this proverb that kept whirling in my head all the way down to the camp leader's cabin. Somehow I just couldn't manage to argue, to pretend that I'm sick, or just to skip it without a reason. The events of this day taught me submissiveness. How? Although sometimes whatever was happening made no sense to me. As I walked in, I had a thought. Well, in fact, how should I get ready? Clothes? I only have an overcoat and a pair of jeans. Anyway, I forgot to ask whether it's going to be an overnight hike or not. I couldn't think of anything better, so I grabbed the sweater that I had on me when I've arrived in the camp. The night might be fairly chilly, and shuffled slowly off to the square. All the camp was already there, although it was about 10 minutes before the time Olga had designated. I settled down near the edge and waited patiently. Night was falling. If viewed from the outside, what a fairly comical picture we would make. A crowd of pioneers lined up out of a sheer habit, like they were waiting a silent command from the bronze agenda. And all this happening in the scarlet rays of the sunset. And there he is, waving his hand and screaming attack as roaring soldiers with red neckerchiefs charge into the battle against some ghostly enemy. But Olga showed up and started to talk instead of agenda. It seems everybody is here. Great. I was so tired today that I couldn't even think about anything, so I ended up just listening to the camp leader. Now, today we will go hiking. It is essential for every pioneer to be able to come and rescue his comrade, to offer a helping hand in the hour of need, saving them from a hopeless situation. How long are you going to stream? Probably an hour. Yeah, I'll stream for more than an hour maybe. Are you still gonna be here or are you gonna be gone? Saving them from a hopeless situation. We have to learn to do all these things together. A whisper that ran through the pioneer crowd suggested that most probably this truly epic expedition would end in a clearing in a forest several hundred feet away from the square. Somehow I thought so too. We'll walk in pairs, so if you haven't chosen a partner for yourself yet, now's the right time to do so. Of course, I'll choose Lena. Pioneers quickly caught on to the idea and started to match in pairs. It looked like I was the only one without a partner. Slavia was enthusiastically discussing something with Olga. Lena was with Miko. Electronic was, of course, with Shurik. Well, it might not be a bad idea to go alone after all. Semyon, the voice of the camp leader, pulled me out of my thoughts. I went up to her reluctantly. I see that you haven't found a partner. Seems like it. Then you joined for 30-35 minutes. It's fine. Thank you for staying. Then you'll join Xenia. She's alone too. I was struck with this special kind of despair that only a true loner can experience. So it appears that I'm left with a prickly librarian. Speed 100. Speed 100 for what? Boy. By the way, did you watch the match? The match is currently going on. I think it's Dust 2 right now. But fuck with the match, bro. Fucking G2, man. Navi shit. 100 times X. What? Why? What do you mean by 100 times? What do you mean by 100 times? Just let me know what do you mean by 100 times, you know. Yeah, Navi won. Okay, they won. Yeah, it was expected. I didn't expect G2 to win. Okay, let's continue. So it appears that I'm left with the prickly librarian that I wouldn't risk spending a couple of hours with everyone if I was paid for it. Although we both seem to be in the same boat now. I slowly approached Xenia. Well, I guess we'll be going together. She looked up to me. Don't you even think that I'm glad? Said Xenia seriously. Why on earth you should feel glad? I asked naively. Never mind. The reading speed is what I meant. Oh, is it 100 though? It's not 100, bro. It's barely 2. Never mind. I thought it would be much better if you just shut up. It couldn't get any better than this. She turned her back on me and followed the other pioneers. I still haven't seen any special reason to walk in pairs. Anyway, we were walking on the well-trodden forest trails and it would be quite difficult to get lost here even if I wanted to. Moreover, while we'd already been hiking for half an hour, we weren't rushing into the depths of the forest, trying to face all the dangers that could test our courage and harden our pioneer spirits. But instead, we were just walking around in circles. She thought, oh man, you have no idea. There are so many thoughts in this game. You wouldn't believe. This is a visual novel at the end, so yeah, the game is a thought game. So, however, if we take into account that Olga was our chief, this hike could be compared to a hobbit's march from the Shire to Mordor. Just as Xenia insisted, I was following her at a distance in silence. The librarians seemed to be perfectly okay with it. Hey, don't you know when we'll reach our destination? What? This place where we'll set down and set up camp. The whole point of this hike isn't to set up a camp, but the hiking itself. You don't get it? Yeah, it seemed that I didn't understand a thing about hiking. I guess you're right, but still, I don't know. She replied sharply and quickened her pace. I caught up with her and asked, listen, why are you always so... I was about to say mean, but stopped short. I haven't done anything bad to you, and I'm not going to. She glared at me in surprise. Always so what? Well, unsociable, kind of. Or is it something about me? Oh, cut that stupidity out already. As you wish. I decided not to start a conversation with her for the rest of the hike. I was going to say the rest of my life. Oh, this is beautiful. At last, Olga decided to end this Sisyphean toil. What? It's time to halt. Thank you. The place chosen turned out to be a quite large glade with a few tree trunks laid in half circle to make an improvised arbor with the remains of a campfire in the middle. Obviously, such hikes are a tradition of this camp. I was sent to gather firewood together with the other boys. It didn't take long because there were a lot of branches and logs of various sizes lying around. Eventually, Olga lit the fire using some old newspapers. I was eager to know what was written there but couldn't discern anything other than Soviet symbols. Dude, you had your chance before with newspapers, and now when they're almost burning is when you decide to read them. Fucking idiot. Pioneers took the places on the fallen log benches and started to talk about things. It seems that the final goal of this event had been achieved. The only things missing were a pot of fish soup, aluminium cups of vodka, and a guitar. But I wouldn't be surprised if all of these would appear somehow. What are you talking about? Sorry, what are you thinking about? Slavia sat next to me. Oh, nothing special. Just enjoying the hike. I answered sarcastically. You don't look too happy. Well, I'm not about to jump for joy. Sorry about that. Okay, I won't disturb you. She sat with me for a while, but after realizing that I wasn't in the mood of talking, she left me to enjoy my introspection all alone. And all I wished for was to lie down in bed and fall asleep as soon as possible. But I was being surrounded by smoke and the useless chatter of pioneers around me instead. They were cheering and laughing and in general enjoying this warm summer evening. In the far side of the glade, I noticed that Lena was arguing with Alyssa intensely, and Lena seemed like complete opposites to me. Slavia had left to go somewhere after our conversation, it seems. Electronic and Shurik were trying furiously to prove something to Olga. Looks like I'm the only one who doesn't belong here. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna find out what's happening. But on the other hand, why should I care? All I was doing was just watching the fire. There is a saying that claims that one could watch it forever as well as running water. But there was also some third thing there. What was that? One could watch three things forever: burning fire, running water, and how other people work. What? The camp leader pulled me out of my daydreaming. Simya, don't you think that it's too early to relax? But what else would I need to do? I honestly couldn't get what Olga wanted from me. I don't know. She stopped for a moment. But if there is something to be done, then do it without hesitation. She smiled ambiguously and went back to the fire to throw a few branches on. After the words, I am completely sure that she treats me like I am a personal slave. She does. Or at least like I'm a free labor force, which is strictly speaking the same thing. I sighed and put my head down on my hands, hoping my torments would be over for today. Someone patted me on the shoulder. I looked up and saw Shurik and Electronic who sat next to me. What do you want? I asked tiredly. Don't be sad. Is there anything better to do? Look, we've been discussing the possibilities for the advancement of the Cybernetics Club with Olga. And there is a problem. We need more guys. If you could, he hesitated. Advancement and those guys are incompatible with each other. I said nothing and started to look over the pioneers around me instead. Well, I don't have time. Can't you see that I'm always busy with the camp leader's errands? Yeah, I guess you're right. It's kind of embarrassing how it all went today with Uliana. I looked at him with surprise. It seems that Shurik blames himself for that cake accident. Yeah, it is. All the pioneers seem to be here, but I couldn't spot Slavia anywhere. I think she's angry with me. Who? I asked absently. Uliana. Maybe I should apologize. No, it's not your fault. We sat silently for a while and then I stood up and said, my legs are numb, I better take a walk. They made no reply. I made a few circles around our improvised camp, noticing the close looks of the camp leader following me. Looks like Olga couldn't wait to come up with some kind of new task for me. I haven't found Slavia anywhere. Maybe I should go and try to find her. On the other hand, I felt sorry for Uliana every time I recalled her upset face. Maybe this hike isn't the most entertaining thing ever, but sitting there all alone isn't any better either. But at the same time, I didn't want to go anywhere. Wait, did I just say interrupt? Whatever. Go to Uliana, go back. Nah, I'm just gonna try to find Slavia. I was absolutely sure that Slavia was alright, so I decided to say, I guess that's enough for me today. What? I sat in my previous place and waited for the end of hike patiently, almost physically, able to feel the looks the camp leader aimed at me. At least she stood up and declared, "And now let's play cities." What cities? I had nothing against the game itself, but it was obvious that the hike will take longer because of it. Pioneers sat down around the fire. I noticed Lena and Alyssa, who took their places on a trunk opposite me. It seems that everything is alright. And just a few minutes ago, I thought the opposite while looking at the quarrel. But anything is possible. I'd really like to know what they were talking about, but it's impossible now, and I could feel tiredness growing in me more and more. My mind was completely blank. To be precise, my head was so heavy that there was no place in it for ideas to unfold. While in my better times, my brain appeared to be a wide highway with millions of thoughts running by, chasing one another and causing major crashes. Now it was more like a footpath lost in the woods, which is used rarely and only in exceptional cases. Slavia didn't come back. Maybe she had something to do. But once again, there's no way to find out now. Dude, I told you to go and look for her. What the what? Okay, let's start. Moscow. Pioneer started to name cities. Finally, it was my turn. I tried to listen closely to catch the first letter of the city I'll have to use. Arkhangelsk. He played several rounds. Each new city named it made it harder to remember everything that was mentioned before. My attention was dissipating, and now I was already lost in all the capitals, megalopolises, villages, and urban settlements. Semyon, Semyon, it's your turn. Olga brought me back to reality. Oh, excuse me, and what was the last one? You're daydreaming again. It was Sevastopol. Oh, okay, then I'll say London. Already used? Well, then it got me thinking. There were tons of cities in the world, starting with L, but it was hard to remember even one of them now. Liverpool. Already there. Los Angeles. Ah, finally. She gave me a scornful look, but the game went on. I could hardly bear to think of another city starting with L, but fortunately it was the last one. Oh, that's enough for today. It's already late. Time to go back. I said with relief. I sighed with relief. Sorry. On our way back, we walked as we liked without what? As we liked without joining in pairs. As we liked without joining in. Comma. Put a comma. Night descended upon a camp. A perfectly regular and normal night. It was one of those nights when dark skies, stars, and even a crescent moon don't cause any special feeling, and the chirping of crickets and the songs of the night bird seem more like routine work noises than a nocturnal chorus. In a few minutes, all the pioneers were lining up in the square. It was quite late already, and fatigue took its toll on our, so our lineup wasn't perfectly aligned. It looked to me more like a line of Vikings after a successful battle, where the warriors are happy and smiling, anticipating their return to their families rather than thinking about maintaining correct formation. But someone else could possibly see a completely defeated troop or a bunch of survivors who have to march to their homeland with the last of their strength. And it had to be Olga, of course. Thanks everyone, and now go to sleep. It's late already. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Took a long break. I had some water, food, everything. Okay. Thanks everyone, and now go to sleep. It's late already. Pioneers quickly each ran their own ways, and I was left together with the camp leader. And we should go too. Sure, don't give me work. That's my proposal. We went in complete silence to Olga's cabin. Okay, let's sleep. Okay, thank you for commanding that as well. She said, turning off the light. I was tossing and turning for quite a while, recalling all the events for the day. On the one hand, I was overcome with fatigue. On the other hand, I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd forgotten something, done something wrong, said something wrong. And this feeling of incompleteness was tormenting me. I think the feeling of done something wrong is keeping your eyes closed while the girl called Rina took some sugar from you. So it was about 2 a.m. All bad things would end sooner or later, or at least would take a break. I wish I could sleep like that. I fell asleep. Day 6. Wait, didn't I just make my choice for day 5? Oh, what? I'm really confused. I don't know what time it was when Olga woke me up, but even before opening my eyes, I felt the imminence of death. My whole body ached, I felt dizzy, my mind was clouded by haze. Simeon, wake up immediately or you'll miss breakfast and more importantly the lineup. Looks like the camp leader intends to exploit me to the fullest today, the same as any other day. I garbled something, covered my head with a blanket and turned to the wall. In the end, Olga's anger will never go beyond words. At least I really wanted to believe so then. Stand up right now or what? I was going to say triumphantly but kept silence. Not because of fear, just because I felt too lazy to open my mouth. Really, what could she do to me? Lecture me at the lineup, hang my foot on the wall of shame, or use me for inhuman alien experiments? Well, I'm ready for that too. Just let me sleep for a couple of hours. Okay, but if you miss the lineup, the door slammed behind the camp leader, and the sleep which had been about to fade claimed my mind again. I woke up dazzled by sunlight. It was 1 pm, according to my cell phone, which was squeezing the last drop of charge out of its battery. Strangely enough, my body didn't ache, my head felt clearer, and all in all, it was a good beginning to the day. After waving my arm, pretending to do early exercises, I sprang out of the cabin and headed toward the washstands. Yeah, I slept through breakfast, but will be served lunch soon, so I shouldn't worry that I'll have to stay hungry like I did yesterday. Also, along the way, I met a pioneer whose face somehow looked strangely familiar. But I was going so fast I couldn't really see him. When I turned around, he was already gone around the corner. There was nobody near the washstands. Everyone is probably busy with Olga's tasks and God knows what else. I quickly brushed my teeth, washed my face, and was already going to leave when I suddenly heard the sound of water flowing from the opposite tap. A pioneer leaned against a washstand over there. I couldn't see his face, but judging by his figure, he looked like one I saw a couple of minutes ago. How are you doing? The sun's so bright today. I looked up into the sky, shielding my eyes with my palm. Yeah, nothing special. It wasn't easy to get a better look at the pioneer, given the way he stood. The bright sunlight that reflected from the water and shiny metal surfaces of the washstands heavily obscured his face, and I wasn't able to distinguish any single feature. Thank you. The camp leader is angry today. So angry. His voice sounded painfully familiar too. Well, she's always like that. Well, you know better, yeah? I tried to remember if I had ever heard this voice or seen this pioneer before. What does he look like? Me. See ya. He turned the water off and quickly marched towards the forest path. For a second I thought of following him, stopping him, but I quickly fought it off, as I decided that it's not worth spoiling such a great morning and suspicions and burdensome speculations, which is true. Nature was glowing with the bright light of life. Lush treetops were rhythmically swaying in the wind, whispering to each other. The breeze gently stroked the high emerald grass. Birds were cooing in the shade, escaping the midday heat. The woods and fields stretching beneath the horizon were dissolving in warm sunlight. I don't know which month is it now. It is now. What is it now? But it looks like midsummer. I distinctly remember the summer vacations of my childhood and youth. Times of fun, leisure, and carefree joy. Childhood games. How many there were? I wouldn't say no to playing war games or hide and seek now, or swinging on a bungee, or maybe building a sandcastle and inhabiting it with toy soldiers, ready to defend the master to the last drop of their plastic blood. I went to the square and sat on the bench waiting for lunch. It looked like there wasn't much time left before it. From time to time, pioneers passed by me, sometimes alone, sometimes in pairs or groups of three. But always someone I didn't know. Alisa, Uliana, Lena, or Slavia were nowhere to be seen. Thoughts about the meaningless of existence were circling in my brain, but this didn't worry me on such a beautiful day. Just think about it. Who could think of grieving for his life lived in vain or lost early while basking in the rays of such a friendly sun? Certainly not me. I looked upon Jenda. He was meditating, as always. Now he definitely never gets any unnecessary doubts. I remembered my first hours in the camp and the day before, the anguish, the anxiety, and fear. That all seems so far away now, although so little time has passed. It's 6 days have passed, dude. 6 days. It's not a little time. Will I get out of here or not? It didn't concern me as much as before. Well, maybe I'm already dead. Then this is the last stop. Please get off the train. What are you thinking about? I looked up and saw that pioneer I'd seen before. I couldn't see his face again as the sun was shining in my eyes. You know life. It seemed he would sit down next to me, but the pioneer stayed in the same place, only half turned, which completely killed any hope of seeing his face. Listen, have we met earlier? I don't think I remember you. Well, let's say that you know who I am. But I don't, I laughed sincerely. Here, you don't. He answered short. I see. Honestly, it's not like I didn't want to walk, I just didn't know what to talk about. And my soul was so calm, this didn't bother me. Your first time here? He asked about a question, but his tone implied he was only expecting a confirmation. Yes, and you? Me? He paused for a few seconds. Nah, it's not my first time here. One might say that I've visited this camp every year since my early childhood. Such an answer got me interested. Well, and what was it like before? It's always the same. Olga, being the camp leader, all the same pioneers around, all the same lineups in the morning, and all these wicked accidents. For a moment, I thought that it was me speaking, not him. Interesting. It's just that with every new, he hesitated, year, more and more interesting things happen, and no one gets to understand better what's going on. No way. No way. Is this me? Is this me from past or future or something? I have a bad feeling that is me. They do say that you can't see yourself in time travel, and I have a very distinctive feeling that this is actually me, and he's explaining the title of the game, that is Everlasting Summer. He says that I've been here every single day since my childhood. How is it possible? Like all these people, same, like Olga is the camp leader. How can she be the camp leader for such a long time? What is this going on? Wow. What are you talking about? This conversation positively triggered my curiosity. It's a pity that I can't distinguish the face of this pioneer at all. Well, every session in the pioneer camp reminds me of the previous one, he said calmly. Probably, this is my first. It shows, the pioneer grinned, but it looks like it won't be the last. Well, it's fun here and all, but you know how they say there's no place like home, but you still have to get back there. Now, I was absolutely sure that this guy was hiding something from me. Holy shit, this is getting somewhere. To be precise, he stood out too much from the camp's usual ordinaries and was too different from the local inhabitants. What do you mean? You think I'm stuck here forever or something? I said, enunciating every word. The pioneer had no time to answer as the lunch bell sounded. I turned my head towards the loudspeaker, and by the time I looked back, the guy was already gone. Thousands of theories and speculations instantly appeared in my mind, but I stopped myself, remembering all the apparent normality of this camp. After all, nothing supernatural has happened in these 5 days. Moreover, everything here seemed too natural, sometimes even boring. Maybe the Spaniard didn't mean anything by that, and I just misunderstood him. He's foreshadowing everything. Every nightmare, it's a foreshadow. Every dream that I had, it's a foreshadow. The bus scene, it's gonna be a foreshadow. I have a feeling we're going on a trip on the day 7, or at least day 6, if I'm not mistaken. We are going on a bus trip somewhere, someday, because I saw a bus nightmare, and then the village thing, and then there's a close thing somewhere, and wow, there's a lot of shit that is foreshadowing towards the end of this game. Thinking that, I went to the canteen, intending to feast. Sometimes it seemed to me that lunch here is akin to the crowds around the soup kitchens during a famine. Pioneers were running around, pushing each other, trying to crawl through for the first meal and take the most comfortable table. Nice pun, comfortable table. I was calmly standing and patiently waiting for the cook to get me my assigned food rations. For lunch today, we had okroshka, which I didn't really like. Okroshka is a traditional Russian cold soup. Ew, why would you have soup that is cold? Maybe you could. I don't know. Yeah, I think I've had cold soup before. Fine. But it sounds weird. And cutlets with potatoes. I sat in a corner and mentally rejoiced that I will be able to eat in peace. My table was the farthest from the kitchen. I could reasonably hope that the pioneers who were looking for a free place wouldn't reach it, or would reach it last. However, when I moved onto the main course, Slavia, Shurik, and Electronic appeared from the crowd. Can we? I had nothing against the company, of course. Lunch was going surprisingly calmly, even Electronic wasn't jabbering as he usually does. I finally finished the meal, sprawled in my chair and satisfied, clicked my tongue. Just a second. Okay. Listen, do you know this pioneer? I saw him today. He's so... I suddenly realized I don't really know how to describe him. Well, about my height, same constitution. Hard to say from such a description. Slavia smiled. Well, we have half a camp of such guys, if it comes to that. All in all, they were right. Why are you asking? It's just that I met him today, and it seemed like I haven't seen him here before. Look in the canteen. I don't think he'll miss lunch. Why didn't I think of that? That's it. Okay, guys, enjoy your meal. I got up and started slowly walk along the rows of table. Lena and Zania sitting over there. I gave them a friendly smile. Lisa and Uliana are laughing and arguing about something. Olga, surrounded by pioneers. Good thing she didn't notice me. There are hardly any free seats, but the guy from this morning is nowhere to be seen. The situation is getting more and more interesting. Looks like I won't find him here. Maybe he already had lunch. I headed to the exit. It was so hot outside that it seemed like you would instantly melt after coming out of the shade. I suddenly felt like sleeping. I yawned and headed to the camp leader's cabin in order to follow the domestic interpretation of the Archimedes principle. In the end, Olga is unlikely to return anytime soon, at least I think so, and I will definitely have a couple of hours to rest. Anyways, I really don't expect any other options to arise, especially in this heat. The heavenly coolness in the cabin became my salvation. I took my clothes off and jumped into the bed. Crickets were easily chirping outside and the wind was shaking the curtains of the window, and I sank into a dream. Knocking on the door woke me up. The knocks were soft but insistent. I reluctantly got up and went to open it. Strangely, there was nobody in the doorstep. I rubbed my eyes and stepped out to look around. All the same, no one around. A dream, maybe. Or is there an apple somewhere? A dream, maybe. It was already 4 o'clock. I felt jaded. I probably shouldn't have slept in the afternoon. After all, I knew what was going to happen. I put on my boots, left the cabin, and locked the door. But where shall I go? All in all, there is not much time till dinner. A sudden thought came to me that it would be nice to refresh myself, so I went towards the beach. The sun has passed the midday mark a while ago. It gets dark early here in the south. I squinted and looked up in the flaming disk. Who was that just now? I flinched. The same mysterious guy was standing in front of me, and once again his face was hard to see due to the bright light. For a moment, the sun blinded me so I could not see anything besides the faint contours of objects. Are you stalking me? Nope, I was just passing by, he answered calmly. Then you should know better, so you haven't seen anyone. Correct. I rubbed my eyes, but it did not help. Why didn't I see you at lunch? I asked bluntly. I wasn't hungry. He laughed. I blinked a few times when my vision came back, but the pioneer had miraculously disappeared once again. What the hell is going on here? Now I was absolutely sure that there was something strange about that guy. He must be directly related to everything happening around here. I will have to find out. But for starters, it's good to confirm that I'm not mistaken and that he is not just a local pioneer. It was quite crowded at the beach. It looked like everyone from the camp was here. Well, no wonder, it's so hot outside. Olga was standing just a bit further apart from everyone, keeping an eye on her army of pioneers. As soon as I thought that coming here might not have been the best idea, she noticed me. Don't give me a task. Hey, Semyon, you weren't at the lineup, and in general, you're just lounging around all day. I did not know how to answer. And just how are you planning on becoming a proper pioneer? She continued more softly. Olga, in the camp, is there a pioneer who looks a lot like me? She looked surprised. Maybe, I don't know. Why do you ask? Oh, I am just curious. Well, we have a lot of boys here. Alright, never mind. Someone's yell came from the riverside and Olga rushed in his direction. It looks like I will be spared a lecture. Thank you. I lowered myself onto the sand and stared at the pioneers playing in the water. After a few minutes of sitting there, Uliana approached me. Ugh, give me a break. Give me a break. Can we just not have some good time looking into the sky, looking into the water, just enjoying the soft, hot but a bit cold and just like a warm breeze going on, just like the soft sand below me lying in on it, and just warmth and cool air sometimes in between, just a good blend of good old cold and hot wind. And why, Ulena, come on. Why so sad? I'm not sad. Well, why are you here sitting all alone? Just thinking about what? I decided to spare her my story about the mysterious pioneer. Well, imagine that you're chatting with a weird person and you have to figure out what exactly is so weird about them. Simple, I would just ask them. She laughed. Too simple, but he won't answer. How do you know? Have you tried asking? No, but it's obvious. Olena did not answer. Just sat down next to me and let out a tired sigh. I'm all swimmed out. And what if they know something, but won't tell you? Make them, but how? For a bit longer, we sat together talking about random things, and then I got up, said goodbye, and went away. Thank you for saving me time. It's time to find the mysterious stranger and get all the answers. The first place we visited was the bus stop. After all, this is where it all began. The road was empty, as always. Only small dust tornadoes were occasionally visible on it. I was ready to turn around and go back to the camp, but then I heard someone whisper, "Don't trust him." Someone was hiding behind the monument. A pioneer was sitting there with his back to me, and once again the voice seemed strangely familiar. "Who are you?" I took a few steps towards him. "Stop, don't come any closer." For some reason, I froze in my tracks. From somewhere deep inside, an assurance came to me, and I understood that I shouldn't argue with him. "Alright, I'll stay here." "Have you seen him? Talk to him," he asked nervously. "Who are you even talking about?" He was dressed in the pioneer uniform. "You know who?" And I definitely did know. He was talking about the weird pioneer I saw earlier. "Yes," I answered after a few moments of silence. "What did he tell you?" The pioneer asked in a pleading tone. "Nothing really." "Did he give you advice? Did he tell you what to do, threaten you?" "No, nothing like that. Of course, he seemed pretty weird, but nothing more than that." "Remember, he may not be alone. Or more likely, he's not alone. But you may meet many pioneers here who look like him." "And what about you?" You. Who are you?" "Who are you hiding from?" "You will understand in time." Just remember, the most important thing is to find the exit. All of a sudden, a strong gust of wind came through, ripping leaves from the trees and throwing an old paper bag into my face. Shielding myself, I averted my eyes. When I looked back at the monument, the pioneer was already gone. At the moment, I was overwhelmed by fear. Real, almost tangible fear. I remember being scared during my first hours at this camp, but back then everything around me seemed kind and friendly. Now Sovinok revealed its fangs, getting ready to eat me. And ahead, the unknown. My body was covered in goosebumps, my throat was dry, and my hands were shaking. I tried to ignore it all and headed back to the camp. It was already dinner time, but I had no desire to go to the canteen. After meeting the second mysterious pioneer, just thinking about the locals made me, if not afraid, then at least creeped out. I don't even know who or what they all are, and even though nothing had happened yet, it does not mean I can trust them. I stopped in front of the clubhouse and then realized that this is not the best spot to be at. I could run into someone, which was not something I wanted to do at the moment. Almost running, I hurried towards the forest and walked a few meters along the path before finally stopping. On one side, the mysterious pioneer, well, two of them to be precise. On the other hand, all the other inhabitants of this camp seemed absolutely normal. Either way, my decision to stand back and let everything resolve itself was under some serious pressure. At this point, it was clear to me I had to do something on my own. But what exactly? Everyone's probably having a dinner, so I have a good chance to make it to Olga's place without being noticed. I decided to first take my clothes, then I wore them, that I wore when I arrived here along with my cell phone. I won't be able to come up with a solid plan right off the bat, so for the time being, I might as well hide in the forest. Oh, this is when the shit goes down? I leaped up the steps and entered the building. My clothes were right where I left them, and my phone was where it was supposed to be, under my pillow. I quickly grabbed it and was ready to stuff it into my pocket, but then I noticed something on the screen. The message window was open. The text read, "You are wrong, Semyon. You are so wrong." It felt like my soul had left my body. I froze onto the spot. I was shaking and my blood was pumping so hard it felt like my skull was going to bust open from the pressure. Wow. Okay, let me just, get a little bit comfortable with this. Shit is about to go down, and I better be prepared for it. It took at least for a full minute for me to come back to sense. Olga could have typed in the message, or one of the pioneers. It's easy to figure out how to do it, even if they're not familiar with this technology. But no one besides me should know where I keep the phone. This event was the straw that broke the camel's back. I rushed out of the house, determined never to come back here. Night fell in the campgrounds. I had been sitting in the woods for a few hours, trembling at every noise. The spot that I chose was far away from the path, so it would be hard to find me. I was keeping a few plans in my head for the time being, to try and run, to kill every single person in the camp. However, on the other hand, one thought chased me and I realized that I shouldn't behave like this because of some strange pioneer, or even because of that message on the phone. All of this was reinforcing the thought that everything happening here was far from normal. However, there was no proof that anyone in the camp had anything to do with it. I could have stayed here until morning, lost in my thoughts, but I heard footsteps coming from somewhere nearby. "So you decided to escape after all." I turned around but couldn't see the pioneer's face in the dark. Nevertheless, I was pretty sure that it was him. I wasn't afraid then. Precisely, I was so physically exhausted that I was prepared for any possible course of events and somehow managed to reason appropriately and to maintain the conversation. "I wouldn't call this an escape," I answered slowly, stretching every word. "Huh, then what is it?" "A tactical retreat." "Brilliant." He burst into laughter. "Listen, why don't you tell me what's going on? Who are you, and what do you want from me?" "What did that guy tell you at the gate?" It seemed that he didn't even hear my question. "He told me not to trust you." I lied. But on the other hand, I thought that it was what he meant. Well, that's always the way for him, running away, hiding. I could hear irritation in his voice. I'm not sure what kind of circus you are running here, but I'm not going to be a part of it. Oh god, that smile. Oh, why not? You're the star after all. I couldn't see his face, but I bet he was smiling. Explain my part to me then. You know, I was like you in the beginning. The first time everything went peacefully. Then I escaped. I tried to understand what was going on, got mad, and even tortured them to get the truth. He laughed crazily. I shivered, but it was pointless. Continued the pioneer after calming down a bit. Pointless. And then I began to notice the lapses. At first, I just heard their voices from a distance, and sometimes in my head. Then vague silhouettes appeared. Then they slowly took on physical form. And finally, they stepped into my world. I could touch them, introduce them to other pioneers, and they all were different. Different. Do you get it? Different. He started shouting, and it recurred again and again. You can get used to the loops, but then I learned how to get into the world by myself, to interact with the worlds, with others. But it turned out that I'm not alone. There are lots of us. Today you saw at least one more. He fell silent. I didn't know what question to ask and didn't want to interrupt his story, so I simply waited. After a minute he continued, it's not that simple, of course, and it's not always possible. Only under certain circumstances, when you feel strong emotions, for example. I instantly remember how I saw him the first time, the time when I didn't feel any emotions at all, including the moments when you feel happy, as if he was reading my thoughts. I see. So you're trying to say that there are several parallel worlds, including the same camp, with its inhabitants, where I am replaced by you, or the guy I met at the bus stop. Yeah, something like that. His answer didn't surprise me at all. In the end, it's clear that whatever happens here is beyond the limits of human understanding, and this theory didn't even seem at all unusual. But he said that everything recurs. Yes, it recurs. And what will happen afterwards? You'll start from the very beginning. You'll wake in the bus, camp to the camp, meet Olga, the girls, electronic. But if it happened to you, then why should it happen to me as well? It happens to everyone. Once again, he laughed hysterically. And how many loops have you experienced so far? I stopped counting them already. At first, I tried to remember them though, maybe a few hundred. No wonder it was very clear to me that this guy was suffering from a progressing mental dysfunction. But he searched for a way out, didn't you? He didn't answer. It's what the guy at the bus stop was talking about. Because he understands nothing, damn it. He shouted. Because he's just like you, constantly running away, hiding. What would you suggest then? If I had any suggestions, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you. Alright, but you were trying, weren't you? Are you trying to understand what I know, since I've been around here for a long time? He asked cheerfully. Well, that's evident. Yes, I did try to run away from here. There. He waved towards the forest. Is nothing there. Nothing but trees. When I had been walking there for several days and finally passed out, I found myself in the bus again. Same for walking along the road, it's endless. Talking to somebody about this is pointless. You probably already understood that by yourself. I did. I interjected. Even if you try to explain your situation directly, at best you'd just be considered an idiot. What if you try to not leave the bus? It's pointless. Sooner or later you'll be found. I even tried to spend the entire time there. In the end, I fell asleep and everything started from the beginning. And what if you started by yourself and leave? No keys, and I don't have any carjacking skills. A cursed cycle? Exactly. A long silence fell. Finally, I asked, and what about the people around here? Don't they raise absolutely reasonable suspicions? Suspicions? Laughter again. The only thing that is suspicious about them is no matter how much you tell them, they stare at you with their eyes out on stalks. The people, I feared them at first too. Then I used them for different experiments. Now I don't consider them humans. They're all dolls. Puppets. You can easily predict any reaction, any word or action. So they aren't worth fearing, are they? The word worth fearing is yourself, he said softly. Do you know how funny it is when human bones when human bones crack as they slowly break from distension. Looks like he has finally lost his marbles. Listen, I understand everything, but the other one thinks that's a bit much too. But it doesn't matter, nobody but you is really here. The pioneer suddenly fell silent. Well, no, I don't agree with you. You're probably thinking why I didn't check this all by myself, aren't you? Why I didn't try to reach the nearest village or town. Yes, I did have such thoughts. Why wasn't I suspicious? Why was I doing different stuff instead of searching for answers? Well, yes, forget about it. That's normal. We all behave like this for the first time here. But how many others have you seen so far? Not that many. The pioneer was lost in thought. About 10 people maybe. But I'm sure there's many more of them. And is everyone like this? In fact, yes. Only the details are different, but the main thing is invariable. There's no way out of here. And by the way, you're just like the majority of them. The only thing that differs is that you have heard everything from me instead of experiencing it for yourself. I don't know if I should thank him for that. Well, and what now? Nothing, I said shortly. I closed my eyes and lost myself in thought. That was a critical mistake. When I opened the eyes, I didn't see anybody, just like the previous times. Oh my god, okay. That's a lot of conspiracy thing to digest. What black people, like not black people, like these shadow silhouettes people who have their own world, who exist in a different world, and they just came to this world. This is just an experiment towards this guy, and this other guy, this mysterious guy, is actually just me from a past incarnation or something. What? Things just loop around in something else, and wow. So that's why the game is called Everlasting Summer. Because it just keeps happening again and again. It's just pointless. So it's clear what's going on now, but in fact, how could everything he said guide me to an answer? Yes, I am not alone. Yes, everything recurs. But what's the reason for all this? And what is more important, where's the way out? The only useful thing that I extracted from the conversation was that the local inhabitants were not worth fearing, and that was quite significant to me for now. Since it was much better to sleep in a warm cabin instead of the forest, I sighed, took my things, and headed towards the camp. As I was walking, the conversation with my fellow sufferer popped up in my mind every now and then. Why did I not ask him about the message on my phone and some other stuff? There were hints, after all. Maybe if I had found some details out, I could have drawn some conclusions. However, it didn't seem like our meeting would be the last one. The lights were on in Olga's cabin. I opened the door gently and went in. Speak of the devil, here you are, the camp leader said angrily. Olga, I'm so tired now, so let's put off the lecture. Tired from what, I wonder? From everything, I snapped rudely. The camp leader looked at me with surprise. I fell into bed without undressing. Simeon, a role model pioneer, shouldn't behave like that. And how should he behave then? Well, not like that. The camp leader stumbled for a moment, struggling to pick the right words. He should respect his seniors. I respect you immensely, for sure. Simeon, sarcasm in my voice didn't go unnoticed. And now I'd like to sleep. Wait, by the way, how far is the nearest town? When does the bus arrive? How can I even get out of here? I asked in a surprisingly calm voice. There was no answer, and there shouldn't have been any. I said all this just in order to get rid of her. Why are you silent? I'm tired, let's talk about that tomorrow. The camp leader got up and turned off the light. Yes, it's all just like that guy said. Why did I speak to him so calmly and properly, I wonder? I should have been shivering from horror. That pioneer didn't have much credibility, but I had a feeling that he's unable to harm me. As soon as I thought that it would be a good idea to ask something else, fatigue overtook me and I passed out. Wow, man, this shit is going down. Huh. Day 7. Okay. Hopefully this is the last day, because that's what I read on the Steam page. So if this is the last day, then I'll just end it by the end of till the end of the game. So yeah, I'll just probably stream to have a time possible. By the way, Ishan, are you still there? If you're still here, you are my true fan. Just kidding, I'm your true fan. I what do you say? I appreciate your efforts of staying to the stream, but if you really want to sleep, you can go ahead and do that. I'll be here till this game is completely over. A bright sunlight was striking my eyes, even through my eyelids. Okay, wait, wait, who's watching my stream? I'm really confused. I see one viewers, but then I thought it was the other guy, but I think it's you. So yeah. I stretched out lazily and quickly got myself out of the bed. It was 2 p.m. Looks like yesterday really finished me off and my body required much more time to recover than usual. I had a stroll. Oh, it's me. I see. Welcome back. I had a stroll around this room. Just a lot of shit went down. Basically, this might just be the end of the game. And basically, this entire experience, this 7-day experience of, um, surprisingly appearing in this camp, and at the end you die and it just reoccurs. So it's a recurring thing that you will never end. That's what the game's name is, Everlasting Summer, because you will just keep coming back to the same camp every single time you die or pass out or something. Yeah, I saw that part. Oh, okay, never mind. So yeah. How long have you been here? I didn't notice that. I had a stroll around the room thinking of what I should do today. Obviously, my life in the camp would never be the same again after everything that I'd heard from the strange pioneer. And if everything just as he said, I have plenty of time ahead. I grabbed my hygiene kit and went outside. I managed to take only a couple of steps as somebody ran into my back. I turned around and saw Alyssa. Hey, be careful, said she indifferently and ran on her way. She held some kind of a bag in her hands. Whatever. Yet another ordinary day in this crazy place. I finished brushing my teeth and then spent an eternity washing my face with ice cold water to bring myself to senses and refresh my head at least a bit. I felt a bit better after that. Suddenly, hope struck me from nowhere. It wasn't a hope that I'd be likely to leave this place safely. Rather, I just didn't want to believe that everything is as bad as the guy told me. Good morning. I heard a faint voice coming from the woods. Someone stood behind a tree. Morning, are you ready? Ready for what? I looked again. It seemed that it was the pioneer from the bus stop yesterday. Indeed, I was prepared for such weirdness today, so I wasn't really surprised and started his conversation quite clear-headed. You didn't believe him, did you? What are you talking about? Everything that he said. Alright, but what is your opinion on what is happening? I already distanced myself from the outside world and decided to treat everything happening to me just like a fictional film, not reality. Hopefully, it would give me more room to move around in terms of situational logic analysis. There is an exit. There has to be, he said excitedly. I don't know, but I'd like to believe that too. If you just... Simeon? I turned around. Slavia was standing right next to me. Who are you talking to? No one. Just talking to myself. I hardly think it's worth telling her about aliens from parallel worlds. She probably can't even see them anyway. Have you prepared already? Prepared? For another hike? No, today is the last day of this session. What? A stupid smile settled on my face. There will be a bus this evening. We are leaving. Holy cow! I was ready for even the most incredible of twists, but... Oh, please don't do that. Please, game, don't do that. Oh, you're just gonna loop it around. I'm just gonna sit in the bus with everybody happy that, oh, I'm gonna get to leave and I'm just gonna end up back here again. Am I not? Fucking... This is a really good take, by the way. The developers seem to, just dropped all the information on you first and then later give you the chance to confirm which one is the right one and which one is the wrong one. This is a really good take on how to, just the storytelling. It's a really good way of storytelling. A unique way, I would say. Not a good way. It is a good way, but still it's a completely unique way of storytelling. I was ready for even the most incredible of twists, but was this what that mysterious pioneer was talking about? Probably it was. Well, apparently I'll have to go for a second lap and live yet another week in this camp. But this time I know everything. I haven't packed yet. It's not like I have much to pack anyway. Okay. Slavia shifted her gaze. Seemed like she wanted to say something but hesitated. Well, see you then. Yeah. I had to ask when we are leaving at least. I went to the square with the intention of discovering that. There's got to be someone I know there. But believe it or not, there was only Jenda waiting for me at the square. Probably all the pioneers were busy with packing. I took a seat on a bench and just stared at the sky. It turns out that today I just have to wait for the departure, pass out on the bus and wake up in this camp again, just like the first day, exactly. So I'm assuming that he retains the memory when he wakes up. Yeah, he does, because the guy that I met in the woods, he said that he stopped counting and he remembers to be a few hundred times. So yeah, you do that, so you know what's going to happen next. So it's on you how you want to change things. I think that's a really boring but quite exciting life for the first few hundred times, that you know what's gonna happen and you can look like the cool guy. Like, hey, by the way, that thing is gonna fall down, and it just falls down, and we're like, oh my god, how do you know that? I'm like, yeah, I'm the god or something like that. But it'd be cool to show off and all that shit. I don't know the words and whatever. Okay. It turns out that today I have to wait for blah blah blah. Continue. Everything was drowning in silence. It's exactly that time of a summer day when the sun seems stuck in the sky. The birds and crickets have gone off for an after lunch dose, and the wind is saving its energy to deliver long awaited coolness to people in the evening. It suddenly crossed my mind that I haven't just missed lunch, but I haven't had any breakfast either. It was ridiculous to search for anything in the canteen. The pioneers had surely cleaned up everything just before the departure. I scratched my head and made my way to Olga's cabin. Surely there should be something edible in the table's drawer. Someone called for me just as I approached the door. Shuriken Electronics swiftly approached the cabin. Are you already packed up? Already packed up, I answered, imitating him. You haven't quite been yourself for the last few days. What makes you say that? How should I know? You'd know better. I mean, why are you so concerned? No reason. A real pioneer always treats a comrade's problems as his own. I cast a skeptical look at him. Thanks for your concern, I'm fine. Oh, there actually was half a loaf. I would love if the game just loops back forever. Like, there is no actual end. Like, I can just keep playing this forever. Like, I don't think that's possible, but just imagine if they tried, they decided to recreate this game and you can just keep playing it forever. Like, it will never end. Like, you can keep going through all these choices again and again and again until you're just completely tired and you'll have to quit the game. Like, that is the next level of technology. But damn, that would be a real life experience. Like, dude, I'm playing like this guy, like he's going through it again and again, then I have to go through it again and again, then different choices every time, then I have to I'll explore all these choices. But yeah, there actually was half a loaf of stale bread and a piece of smoked sausage in the drawer. I've ate everything with deliberate pleasure, washing it down with smelly water that Olga probably used to water the plants. Just as I finished, someone started knocking on the door. Come in. Olyana, of course. Olyana rushed into the room. Oh, it's just you, she said disappointedly. And who did you expect to see? A circus complete with bears? Olyana giggled. Where's Olga? Don't know. I shrugged. Why not? I don't know, because I don't know. What do you want from her anyway? Got to ask something before the departure. Okay, I tell her that you were searching for her if I see her. By the way, why aren't you packing up? Like I have much to pack up. Well, see you. Okay. She cracked a sly smile and bounded out of the cabin, slamming the door behind her. And still, it's really strange that nobody seems to be puzzled by this sudden departure. And why am I the only one who was not expecting it? Like, everyone really cares if I've packed my things up. As well as that, doesn't anyone care that this is the last time we are seeing each other? The words of that guy in the forest yesterday about all the camp's tenants being unreal suddenly sprang into my mind. Well, right now I'm more ready to believe it than ever. The desk drawer where I found my breakfast contains lots of odds and ends. I grabbed a pencil and a piece of paper, examined them for some time, and then slipped them into my pocket. Just in case. Okay, I think that's gonna be useful later on. I had no intention of watching over all the pioneers running around and packing, so I just lay on my bed and didn't even notice how I dazed off. It was somebody's voice that woke me up. A familiar pioneer was sitting directly opposite with his back to me. I'd gotten used to him a bit since yesterday, and it even seemed that I stopped fearing him. Hey, why do you always have or hide your face? Because you shouldn't see it. If you say so. I wasn't in a position to argue. So what are you going to reveal this time? You already know that it's the last day of a session, don't you? Yep. And you've already spoken with that one. Yep. So what did he tell you? Nothing special. He said that there's an exit out of here. The pioneer burst into laughter. Yeah, I believed that too ages ago. And now? And what is now? I have my past, my life back then. He stopped talking for some time. Anyway, it was all a long while ago, so I don't really remember. The future is all the same loops, 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 repetitions of the same story. Where is this now? Well, I hate to say, but I'm not yet as lost in time as you are. Oh, that's nothing. That will come with time. He broke into diabolic laughter. There's just one thing I don't understand. What's your reason for coming to me? What do you expect to achieve? Me? Nothing really. So why did you come then? It's just because you, him, and others like us are the only real people around here. Given everything he'd said to me already, I just was ready to believe that all the local tenants are just puppets in some kind of hellish stage play. Are you sure that you are right? Right about what? Well, that you are right about everything. I can't be right or wrong. I didn't choose this world. I didn't throw myself into it. I'm just here, and you are just here. Listen, if I've already got a headache from your philosophizing, I was kind of puzzled myself as to why I was so calm talking to this mysterious pioneer. Well, here it is, right in front of me, all the fantasy and the devilry that's happened to this camp. Here it is, an explanation, at least a partial one, for how I got here. Here they are, the answers I've searched for such a long time. On the other hand, my behavior was quite logical. While I couldn't quite explain what was happening, this cuckoo guy just talked. Okay, this guy just talked and talked, and it's not like his words changed anything. Then what's the point of listening to him? Oh no, you will soon understand everything yourself. Okay. Somebody was knocking at the door. I got to open up. It was Slavia on the doorstep. You came to see Olga? No. Come in then. I was 100% sure that the pioneer had already disappeared. Turns out I was right. Slavia took a seat on the bed and I snuggled against the wardrobe in the far corner of the room. She was distinctly nervous. Did something happen? Not really. It's just today is the last day. Well, I'm already aware. Better late than never. Well, so I thought. You probably won't see each other ever again. It's a small world, as they say. But maybe you would give me your address to write letters. I would have if I only knew it myself. Let's do it the other way around. You give me your address, so I'll definitely write you upon arrival. But why don't you give me? Why don't you want to give out yours? Well, we were just about to move, so you never know. It's better if I write to you. I try to put on my cutest smile to make my story look more credible. Okay, it's fine then. Slavi got up and seemed to be leaving. Hey, wait, what about the address? Let's do it later. An expression of sorrow and disappointment crossed her face. I just shut the door and right then heard the spiteful voice of the pioneer from behind. Well, happy now? You've heard a girl. What have I heard her with? What should I have said to her? My dear? Right to my dear granny in the village? Or should I have left her the address of a house that's probably not even built yet? So what? I'm not my brother's keeper. It's your world, not mine. I'll manage somehow in my own. That last phrase really made me squirm. You know what? Knock, knock, knock. Who's there? Guilty conscience. I didn't manage to finish the phrase. Someone was knocking at the door again. Come in. Only enough you into the cabin. Why the rush, my lady? I made an excessively showy bow. Okay. Me, I'm just... Her eyes darted about cautiously and her cheeks were blushed. Just wanted to say goodbye. There will be the time for that anyway. After all, we'll be going on the same bus. Yeah, you're right, but it's kind of embarrassing in front of everybody. Oh, so there is something you can be embarrassed by. I laughed. She pouted. I just wanted to tell that you aren't a douche, really. In fact, you're almost a cool guy. Oh, you're just trying to, ooze me. Game. Unless it's Lena, I'm not gonna fall for it. Her words astonished me. Well, thanks. You're good to hang out with too. Well, that's that. She rushed outside, slamming the door loudly. Hey, didn't expect that from her, did you? It got nothing to do with that, I told you. It really looks like you knew what she will say. Maybe I did. Maybe not. Of course he's gonna know. It's his 100th time. You just came here to mock me. I started to lose my temper. That idea had crossed my mind. Then why the hell are you hanging around here? If I ever need a man to comment on all my actions, I'll hire a professional psychologist. You think that after all this time I don't qualify as one? My estimation is that after all the time here, you've definitely gone bananas. All psychologists are freaks. Ah, come on, it's not true. That's not fully true. Yes, but not all freaks are psychologists. He laughed out loud. A sense of humor, how encouraging. Frankly, your jokes are fairly lame. Who are you laughing at? At yourself? Listen, if you've got nothing to do in your own world, go and bug that second one. And have you got nothing to do in your world? Pioneer sharply countered, I'll find out what to do. I'll pack up my things, leave this camp. And then what? Then what? Like I know. I've never been in such a situation before, believe it or not. It's just that you've forgotten that you won't be able to leave the camp. Yeah, he was right on this matter. Probably. Just because you fail to do so, that doesn't mean that I will fail too. You're the boss. There was a knocking on the door, so quiet that I barely heard it. Why do I think it's Lena? Come in. Okay, let's get real here. Lena was on the doorstep. It looks like I really scared her. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. You came to see Olga? No, she said, staring at the ground. And what is it then? What did Lena want from me? Come in. She came in and hesitated in the middle of the room. Want to take a seat? I pointed at one of the beds. I thought it was going to be a... Yep, I knew. I pointed at one of the beds. Lena hesitated a bit more, but nevertheless took a seat. Did something happen? Not at all, it's just... She threw a quick glance at me, but blushed at once and looked away. Here, Lena took something out of her pocket and handed it to me. I was stunned. It was my phone. But where did you get it from? I found it in the forest. Okay, but why do you think it's mine? Some boy told me so. Have you ever seen him before? I don't know. I couldn't see his face, but he was dressed in a pioneer uniform. Everything was clear at once. And don't you wonder what it is? I looked at the screen. There was still some battery left. Therefore, the cell phone shouldn't just look like a piece of plastic to Lena. I don't know, some kind of game. Yeah, you're right. I quickly opened Snake in the menu and handed the phone to her. Here you go, a keepsake. Oh, what are you doing? I can't. Lena waved her hands at me. Take it, I have loads of these at home. She resisted a bit more, but finally she took the device. And what do I do with it? Play. Press the keys to move left and right. You've got to eat these pellets and keep from hitting your own tail. Wow, it's so interesting. She smiled. Thank you, and yet I have nothing for you. It's so embarrassing. I don't need anything. Thanks. No, that's not good, she said with a voice that sounded more confident than usual. It's the last day. Today, after all. Yeah, I hope we'll meet again. I think we will. Then I have a present for you. And what is it? Close your eyes. I'll pretend to do that. I know something's about to go down. I did so and promised that you won't open them until I tell you. Okay. No, you have to promise. Alright, I promise. In a moment, I felt a light kiss on my cheek. I was really eager to open my eyes, but I promised. Open. The room was empty. What a girl. The only thing I managed to say. So, how does it feel? Stud. Oh, I'm a stud now. Yes, I am a stud. Okay, thank you. I heard malicious laughter from the place where Lena had just been sitting. So, that's your new way of pranking me, eh? Using the others. Me? Pranking? God forbid. Indeed, you got a kiss from a sweet girl, thanks to me, on the cheek, but anyway. I really wanted to beat him up at the moment, but I wasn't even sure that he's a physical being here. I presume that this prank wasn't your last one, I said calmer. Who knows? Isn't it fun? The pioneer laughed hard. Perhaps Professor Moriarty laughed like that, anticipating the success of his diabolical plan. You're certainly having fun, but I am not. Relax, dude. There's almost nothing left. And here you go. Your second lab. After you do a dozen, then you'll earn a pit stop. Although you probably won't need me then. You'll figure out everything yourself. It's not like I need you right now either. Oh, what ingratitude. Just cut it out. If you'd ever, just shut up already. No, understanding. Shut your damn mouth. I screamed so loud that the walls trembled. The front door suddenly burst open and Elisa came in. Is it just me or has someone gone completely nutty nuts? She asked with fright. Well, you could say so, I answered angrily. Why are you yelling? Because I want to. I've already realized that the accidental arrival of Alyssa was either planned by this pioneer or would be commented on by him in a manner that I'd sooner drive a pair of nails into my ears than have to hear. Have you gone psycho or something? Alyssa reclined on a bed in a laid back manner. To what do I owe the honor? I came just for the sake of it, and you're screaming. You aren't doing anything just for the sake of it. I've got nothing to do. I've packed my stuff. It's boring. Well, if you think that I came to you because she threw an angry glance at me and turned away, I really shouldn't have come after that. After what? I haven't said a word. Of course, you thought it instead. Oh, so you can read minds now. There's no need to read your mind. It's written all over your face. It was hardly possible to read anything on my face besides fatigue and anger. And what have you read there? That's none of your business. Well, it's not like I'm holding you here. Forget it. I'll go wherever I please. Don't boss me around. Okay, stay here then, for God's sake. Anyway, I liked Alyssa's company was much more than the pioneers. Yep. I laid back and closed my eyes. It took Alyssa a few minutes to break the silence. You really don't want to tell me anything. For example, today is the last day after all. So you're happy? Well, she babbled uncertainly. Everyone's leaving. Good riddance. And that's all? You need something else? Didn't you like it here? Her voice sounded unusual. I've seen better places. Damn, you're so dumb that speaking to you is a complete waste of time. She got up and headed to the exit. Yep, good luck to you too. Alyssa turned to me. Her face was writhing with anger. Couldn't you at least have said that you will miss me? Sure, I will. Wimp. Oh, that was really cute. Cute. I can't even say cute. She slammed the door loudly. Stupid. Alyssa didn't hear. Oh my god. Dumb bitch. Alyssa didn't hear my last line, of course. What a wayward chick, huh? As good as you are. And you, in that case. Of course, keep comparing me to yourself. I remarked mischievously. But what's the difference? We are in the same situation. I've just been here a little longer. Well, in fact, a lot longer. And you've already gone completely nuts. No wonder. His hoarse laughter was really pissing me off. Man, that guy is really like you. Oh, no, come on. He's not like me. I wouldn't do that to a stupid girl. So, yeah. Listen, have I already told you that you should be an actor? You do a brilliant Hannibal Lecter. Yes. Especially since you consider yourself a psychiatrist. I'll think about it. Well, now I must go. Maybe I'll see you again. Get lost. I turned to look at him, but the pioneer had already disappeared. Oh, finally. But nevertheless, why did he come? It might be the case that me, him, and the others like us are the only real people around here, but I desperately didn't want to believe that. All his speech seemed like some sort of complex game. Like he's trying to give me one hint from the other, trying to lead me to something, enabling me to discover some kind of devious plot. Too bad. He's not really successful at that because I'm out of ideas. Time dragged on deceitfully, slowly, but it's 5 p.m. already. It's common during the summer. If one counts the seconds and minutes, it appears that even a single hour would never end. But if you think of anything else, then the whole day flies by quickly. It's true. I decided to start packing. They could leave without me. I quickly took all my winter stuff, shoved it into a bag. I was almost about to jump onto the bed again, but the door opened and Olga came in. Oh, I see you packed already. That's great. Let's go. I got up reluctantly, grabbed my simple luggage and followed her. I really don't care what will happen next. I had long suspected that nothing was up to me in this world, and recent events had reinforced my complete confidence in this. I might wake up tomorrow in bus number 410, or I might not wake up at all. And that's all, folks. It's all that simple. There's no point in staying here. There's nowhere to run. Basically, my only exit is to leave on the bus with everyone else, go into the unknown. That's all I'd been doing for the last week, stumbling along a narrow path in the pitch black darkness, unsure of where is the beginning and where is the end. That's some deep shit. We were almost approaching the gates when I heard someone calling my name. Simeon? Simeon? Olga, excuse me just a minute. Okay, but make it fast or we'll leave without you. I headed for the bushes the voice came from. Simeon! Simeon! I waded through the thick greenery and came out into a forest path. The voice seemed to be calling from nowhere. One moment it was heard behind a tree, and now it seems to be behind my back. Probably it's one of those aliens from the parallel worlds, but I suspect that I haven't met this exact one before. We don't have much time. I'm listening. I know that you've already been contacted by him and him. Way to be obvious, bro. Way to be obvious. Yeah. And I know what they have told you. Don't ask me how. Okay. But you must know one thing. The thing I know. There's more than a dozen of us here. In fact, more than 1,000. But a lot of people got out. I've tried to digest what he said and phrase the right questions. Then why are you here? I stayed. Why? To help others to find an exit. Wow, how generous. And why should I trust you? You're the third one already. Well, in fact, I'm not even sure that you all aren't just my hallucination. It's not about trust. Then what is it about? It's about the right choice. Consider this camp to be a giant maze. You should take a few right turns to find an exit. Okay, and how do I know which ones are right? You will know. Come with me. Where to? To the second lap. Hold on a second. That pioneer said that my second lap will start tomorrow. He lied. The speaker raised his voice. He's gone completely crazy and he's trying to destroy all the others. So if I don't go with you and leave on the bus, then I'll be destroyed, right? I don't know. Then why do you say so? Nobody ever returned after a conversation with him. Listen, why should I trust you? I was definitely on the edge. While that pioneer just mocked me and didn't seem to be a real danger, this one clearly spoke about things worth being anxious about. I couldn't decide which one should I trust. This problem is like trying to get a blind man to say whether the light in the room is on or off. He can only guess. Just like me. Hurry up, the time is running out. Hey, wait a second. Make a choice. Are you coming or not? Why? What? Why? Wait a second. What? Why? What? No, don't do this. Okay, I'm gonna save it right here. Holy shit. I'm gonna follow the voice. Okay, let's go. Anyway, he sounded more credible than the crazy pioneer. Of course, the solution could be fatal, but the alternative isn't any better. I just took a shot in the dark. Okay, so where are we going? We are already there. My eyesight started to fade and I felt my conscience leaving me. What? What? So that's a good ending. I'm not gonna follow that stupid voice. He just killed me, that stupid idiot. Do not follow the voice. No, you know what? I can't just believe you in a couple of minutes. At least I've known the other guy for longer, and his arguments seem to be more weighty. You'll be sorry. Those words sounded like they were coming from another world. The voice seemed to disappear. Of course, I couldn't be sure whether my choice is right or wrong. It was a blind guess enforced by team limit. Yes, it is the right choice. It is the right choice. Don't follow the stupid voice just because this looks calm and nice. It's not all the time. Okay. I just followed the voice because I wanted to see how that ending was going to go. Okay, nevertheless, whether I'm right or not, we'll find out soon. In a couple of minutes, I was standing at the bus stop with all the other pioneers. Oh, I'm gonna name these people. This is Slavia, this is Olga, this is Shurik, this is Alyssa, this is Uliana, this is me, this is Lena, of course, and this is Electronic. And I don't see Xenia. Began Olga. You're leaving our camp today, and I'd like to tell you something in parting. She was visibly nervous and desperately lost for words. I hope that you'll remember the time we have spent here for a lifetime and that you'll retain only pleasant memories about Sovianok. I also hope that you became at least a little bit better, managed to learn something, and found new friends. Just come back next year. The camp leader looked away. It's like she was trying to keep the tears inside. I didn't expect her to get so emotional, although her speech sounded like complete nonsense to me. True, yeah, I'll say that. Okay, I agree with the fact that, yeah, this makes sense to me. This is too much me. Nonsense to me, as usual. The pioneers started to crowd into the bus, babbling cheerfully. I decided to hold on a little and say a proper goodbye to this camp. All of a sudden, I felt a deep urge to throw a coin. Of course, there's no fountain here, and honestly, I didn't feel like returning, but it's still just a superstition. I don't believe in them. At least I never believed in them before. Digging through my pockets, I found only a couple of candy wrappers, a pencil, and a scrap of paper. I held them for a moment, then I squatted, put the paper on the ground, and scribbled a few words. You are here for a reason. Grinning at my stupidity, I threw the scrap under the wheels of the bus and got into the cabin. I found a place in the middle. But the strangest thing was that everyone sat in pairs and only I was alone. However, what's the difference now? I'll either disappear or I will restart everything in a couple of hours. The bus was slowly moving towards the district center, occasionally bouncing over the bumps in the road. It was impossible to see anything beyond the old windows in the pitch black dark of the night. Anyway, I couldn't care less about the surrounding countryside. I just sat and waited for the inevitable. For the first time in a long while, my head was completely empty. The pioneers around me enjoyed the trip. Ulena and Alyssa were playing cards. Lena was reading a book and Slavia was sleeping. Miko was trying in vain to start a conversation with Xenia, and Xenia was trying really hard not to start killing people. Electronic and Shuri were crafting something. As always, I was the only one completely ignored by everyone. It might be a slightly far-fetched perception. I got used to the role of being the center of the universe in the camp. I thought that everything revolved around me. Well, that might be so up to a certain degree, but here and now I'm only a foreign object, an out-of-place molecule in the harmonic pattern of a crystal grid. I'm not sure how long we'd spent on the road, but sleep had already started to welcome me. I was desperately fighting Morpheus, trying to stay awake as long as I could. After all, it's quite possible that today is the last day of my life. Then probably it's reasonable to cling as hard as I could to these few hours of meaningless, useless existence. However, physical fatigue and more importantly emotional fatigue took its toll and I fell asleep. Welcome back to the camp. What? Day something. A sharp pain throbbed through my entire body. I felt it especially sharply in my temples. It feels like they're ready to shatter into 1,000 little pieces, giving the wind free access to my empty head. Probably I would not have been able to stand even 5 minutes of such torture if I hadn't opened my eyes in time. I was somewhere. It was impossible to tell precisely where. My mind was clouded in mist. My thoughts were confused. The moment between the unconscious and conscious states when you vividly remember your dreams. I was going somewhere by bus and was about to doze off when suddenly a girl came up to me and began to speak quickly. I couldn't understand a word, but the girl looked very upset. I failed to understand what she needed from me. Time passed and she kept talking on and on. I was getting really annoying. I wanted to ask her to cut it out or at least calm down a bit, but I failed either because I didn't manage to say anything or because my words didn't reach her. I couldn't even see her face. I was simply listening and staring and listening. Perhaps it wasn't important for me then. Surely you would not try to remember what a mosquito disturbing your sleep looks like. Surely you wouldn't manage to recall the frequency of its flapping wings or the inclination of its proboscis after that. And this girl is just one of millions of voices that disturb you from concentrating, from thinking, from falling asleep. The louder her voice grew, the harder it got for me to catch her words. The bus cabin, the seats worn by time, the uneven floor, the rusty ceiling, the cracked glass of the windscreen, everything was floating away, along with her. And then I felt a unique sense of relief. It didn't matter how real the bus and the girl had been, it was nothing but a bug to me. And here I am, hanging in total emptiness and falling inside a dream. Was this all a dream? What? Wow, dreams can be really something. Not quite a nightmare, yet definitely not something pleasant. I got up, rubbed my face to get back to reality, gave a loud yawn, and prepared to clean myself up. It was really grey morning. Unable to find my hygiene kit on the nightstand, I concluded that I could manage without it. It was hard to get dressed, my hands were trembling like hell. I looked at my reflection in the mirror and checked out my 2 week stubble. Well, perhaps Olga has a razor. It was only when I went outside that I suddenly understood that I'm not in a pioneer camp. I'm back in my apartment, and I've just come out of my room into a passageway, not out of the cabin. I was overwhelmed with surprise, with dismay, with fear, even with terror. But how? What? What? I sat down on the bed and buried my face into my hands, trying to remember the chain of yesterday's events. Yeah, the bus, the last day of the term. Yeah, I fell asleep. I woke up back home. Well, to some degree, it might even seem quite logical. It seemed that the initial astonishment has worn off during the first few seconds. After all, the fact that I came back like this after a week-long absence is no stranger than my sudden appearance at some pioneer camp of the 80s in the first place. The events of the last 2 days flashed before my eyes in an instant. That mysterious pioneer, his words. But how did I manage to get back to reality then? According to him, I was going to be stuck there forever as there's no exit. On the other hand, I wasn't alone. That pioneer at the bus stop and the mystery voice emphasized the contrary, that the exit exists. Does that mean I found it? I managed to get out the endless loop. But how? Nevertheless, I wasn't sure whether I should rejoice or grieve. Over the last week, I'd kind of gotten used to the everlasting inner monologue, the search for answers, and the in-depth analysis of everything. So I simply couldn't accept this fact as it was without figuring out what exactly happened to me. Sure, he told me that I'm the only one who has observed the existence of other guys like me during their very first loop, but does that mean anything? Anyway, all his theories and ideas instantly collapsed like a house of cards. Now I had to decide how I should react. Of course, I would rejoice. After all, I'm back to the real world. Maybe the last 7 days were just a dream. Indeed, there's absolutely no evidence that I really was there. I don't see my pioneer uniform anywhere. I look my age, just like I did before. My phone is on the table, fully charged. But one can't deceive one's own memory. One can't live through such terrifically real experiences in a dream. I still remember the events of the whole week in a great detail. Perhaps I was in a coma all this time. An ironic laugh escaped my lips. Nah, that's not an option either. Then all's well that ends well. The last few hours in the camp flashed through my mind. Indeed, I wasn't hoping to get out, either from the camp or from that reality. And I was pretty much ready to another week, another and another one. I'd accept my role, I'd reconciled with my destiny, and what was I supposed to do after all the stuff that happened? I heaved a doomed sigh, got up from my bed with considerable effort, and went to my computer. That's weird, but according to it, only 14 hours have passed since my disappearance from this world. Not a whole week. What? A new message in the instant messenger. Hi Simeon. Yesterday, it was legendary. See you later. My college friend, it was him who invited me to that party with the rest of his college friends, and I was going to attend. Suddenly, all my senses came back to me, the headache, the dizziness, all the symptoms of a hangover. It looks like I indeed attended that party yesterday, and I was partying hard. So there was no pioneer camp, but that, where did all these memories, emotions, and feelings come from? All of this was so incomprehensible that I became enraged. I began cursing foully, trying to tear my hair out and hammering on the keyboard with my fist. I didn't return to a normal state until there was no keys left to it. Why should I care so much? Nobody worries when a dream or a hallucination ends. Moreover, people are usually glad that it happens. Was I really that prepared to stay there that my return to reality became so undesirable for me? And then a simple and obvious thought crossed my mind: perhaps I'm just going insane. Indeed, madmen frequently have visions which they perceive as reality. Besides, I had all the symptoms of insanity. I never leave the four walls of my prison. I never socialize. I have lots of psychological problems. Well, that explains a lot. My dark, nervous laughter echoed in the room. Guess it's the right time for me to visit a therapist, or rather a psychiatrist. Or should I just surrender myself at the asylum? A horse. A horse. Half my kingdom for a horse. I cried at the top of my lungs because bouts of my maniac laughter. Dispute not with her, she is a lunatic. The racket my neighbors made on the wall calmed me down somehow. If I'm tripping that bad, it looks like only a lobotomy could help me. I just sat completely freaked out for several hours, doing nothing, thinking nothing, just staring at the computer, long since going to sleep mode. Finally, I moved the mouse and opened a few tabs in the browser. So what's new? F5, F5. OMG, if this is the end, it has such a high school English essay vibe. Yeah, it does, right? I feel the same. As if the events of the past week had never happened. Come on, do you have to grieve for a hallucination? Was it real? Sure, lots of memories. Sure, looks true enough. By all means, yes. Any proof? Nope. The verdict is clear, as in my future course, I have long suspected that my current lifestyle wasn't doing me any good. I wasn't ready for such an unusual event, but so what? I'll have to be more prepared for my next trip. Night, an endless stream of threads and images took my mind off lamentations and considerations. An instant message window popped up most unexpectedly. Hi, how are you doing? Sure, quite an original way to start a conversation. Doing fine. The contact's profile was completely empty, not even a nickname, just a 9-digit number. You can't guess what kind of a person is on the other end just by looking at a number, can you? Sure, someday it will be all different. Unified digital identifiers instead of names. A couple of symbols for a biography. Several bytes of couple of symbols for a biography. It is true. In 2019, people use symbols for a biography, whatever. Several bytes of personality and 3.5 bits of feelings. Get home safely. Probably someone from yesterday's party. Seems like it. You do remember everything I told you yesterday, right? Well, I guess not. There was yet another message left out a long pause. I see. Honestly, I don't give a damn who this is and why he is messaging me. Until this unidentified individual starts harassing me, I could easily tolerate his presence in my contact list. Well, that's okay. We'll meet again. We surely will. Sure, looking forward to it. Yeah, alright. Bye. I didn't reply. This odd screwed up day at last was slowly coming to an end. Going to bed, I yet again recalled in my head all the events that seemed so real for me. What am I going to wake up tomorrow? Would these hallucinations return? I'll probably just forget everything. Strange, but now I'm really feeling that everything happening now is real. There was just a fiction, a game of deformed imagination, or really something fantastical, and here is reality. Sometimes inconvenient, sometimes it unfolds indifferently from how you'd wish. surprises you like this. Surprises you like this, but it's still reality. I fell asleep with these thoughts. Oh God. Bit by bit, my life resumed its normal course, and I started to forget the events of that week. After all, nothing bad happened, even if it was indeed real. Who cares? That were only 7 days in a pioneer camp. I wasn't killed, nobody kidnapped me to conduct experiments, I wasn't brainwashed, so why do I care now about the reason? If it indeed was a hallucination, I could only hope that it won't repeat itself. I was still shut in. My computer and the internet were my only friends, and the keyboard was the only communication channel connecting me to the outside world. The F5 key becoming the main thing in my life again. Come to think of it, it really wasn't all that bad. Yet one day, a familiar combination of digits popped up on the screen. That strange contact of mine had come online once again. Hey, how are you doing? Doing fine. Probably I knew him from somewhere, but who cares anyway? Any news? Not really. Stability is a sign of true class? One might say so. Oh, I see. This conversation was over for me, but it didn't seem to feel like that. So nothing has changed. Nope. Should it have? Well, it's not like you experience stuff like that on a day-to-day basis. Not everybody gets to experience it either. What are you talking about? Don't you get it? I was starting to. I'd prefer you to explain. Don't you remember the camp? It felt like an electric shock. All the events of the week immediately sprang up in my mind. My hands started to tremble. A cold sweat burst from my forehead. I turned around in horror, already imagining that I'd see aliens, ghosts, or the Grim Reaper. But there was nobody in my room except me, as always. I ran to the corridor, checked in the kitchen and in the bathroom. Still nobody. At last I returned to the computer. The same message window was still flashing steadily, as if it was a perfectly ordinary message. Who are you? My hands were trembling so much I could hardly hit the right keys. Oh, so you do remember it. My hallucinations seem to be continuing, or did I never leave the camp in the first place? Or it's just a dream after all, or I don't know what to say. I admitted sincerely. Anyhow, I felt that this entity, that's the only definition that I could think of, doesn't need any kind of internet to communicate with me. Well, you can just keep silent, everything's perfectly clear, XD. A smiley at the end of the line looked like the devil himself, stretching its deformed jaws upon to devour me. What is happening to me? I finally made up my mind to ask that question. Nothing at all. You're just living your regular life. But the camp was real. And what do you think? I'm not sure. If it seemed real to you, then yes, it was real. If not, then it wasn't. It's just that simple. That's not simple at all. What? What will happen to me next? I whispered. Nothing to worry about. It seems that it really hurt me without the use of the internet. Terror chained my whole body. I closed my eyes and curled myself into a ball. Why? Why are you doing this to me? I started to lose it. Words were coming out of my mouth by themselves, illogical, meaningless sets of words. Why? Why me? What for? Leave me alone. I haven't done anything bad. 7 minutes after, I found the courage to open an eye and take a look at the monitor. You are the reason for everything. The message window was flickering coldly. And what's next? Oh, you'll see that soon enough. Everything started fading to black in my eyes. Noise filled my ears, and I started to feel dizzy. I felt that my very soul was escaping its physical shell. The events of the last few days became hazy, as if they'd all happened to someone other than me. Then the memories of the camp started to vanish, as if somebody was using an eraser to thoroughly rub out words written with a pencil. A moment later, I felt and sensed nothing, as though I was plunged into a state of cosmic bliss. If anyone saw me at the moment, they would notice that I was smiling. I'm kind of stuck here. I hit the report spam button, closed the window, switched to the browser and glanced at the clock. Time to get going or I'm gonna be late. Holy shit. Wow. Every story has its beginning and its end. Every story has its own outline, synopsis, contains key points, prologue, and an epilogue. And there is no book which, if you read it again, would not reveal new details if you didn't notice before. Every story has its beginning and its end. Almost every. What? 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 Oh my god. Ah! I'm letting it in. I'm letting it in. I'm just. That didn't happen. Is it showing me stuff that I missed on? Oh wait, no, that's just the descriptive version. Oh. This is extremely confusing to watch at 11 p.m. Oh well. Startle me, it's 3 a.m. right now. Oh dude. What? That was a thing? Everlasting Summer. It's incredible. It's fucking incredible. Is that it? Is that it? Don't show me the main menu. Oh god. I already missed all the game. Oh my god, this was such an incredible thing. So I didn't get all of the photos away from here. Okay, so this was the one that I got in the beginning, and this was Arena. I have no idea what this is. Yeah, I do remember getting all these other images. Yeah, I have a lot of shit to explore. Oh god, okay. This is a really beautiful game. I'll probably play that again with the different sets of choices, tackling other people. So hey, thank you so much for joining in. Thank you especially for joining, and I'll probably end the stream right now because I've been streaming for 2.5 hours and it's already 3:45. So yeah, it's 3:30 now exactly, to be exact. So yeah, thank you for joining in. Thank you for watching. If you're watching it later, if it's me looping in this entire world and me watching this game again, if that's a conspiracy we're going with, and thank me for watching this again. So yeah, I'll see you sometime later. Bye bye.